on Wednesday.
Are we still going to do that?
Especially because this is a brand new link. Yeah. I'll text her.
Okay.
I'm sure my phone will blow up. I'm going to get the link right now. Email. Hey, Kyle.
Hey.
Hey, Kyle.
Oh, hold on. I got a call coming in. Sorry. Okay. Hi, Diana.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I was actually just thinking about you yesterday. Are you still doing the happy hours?
I haven't done one because it doesn't seem like anyone was jumping on really. So I was thinking about maybe doing one next week just randomly.
Okay.
I have a couple people that asked me. So.
Well, let me know. I was thinking about it. Well, I was thinking about it kind of late last night. I was like, oh, it's Tuesday. They have happy hour.
Yeah. I'll make sure.
I had already started drinking kind of early because I had a rough day. So.
Yeah, I haven't been feeling that great the last few days. So.
Uh-oh, are you okay?
I'm okay. I woke up yesterday with a really sore throat, and I started coughing this morning. So. Sure, it's just stress. I'm sure it's nothing else. I mean, it's
yeah.
Do it. Sorry. Oh. My email's not working. That's great.
My thing is so dark.
Howdy. How are you?
You need some like lighting, like a light ring or something. Diane.
So look what I got. I got one of these things.
Ooh, crazy.
Way on the other side.
Well, and it's mostly for like my little baking thing that I do.
Mhm.
But it still just doesn't give me quite as much as I was hoping. Yeah, that's a little bit better.
Perfect.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
Cheryl, are you back in the office?
I am.
That's exciting.
And my volume is way down, so I'm not hearing it. Hi, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Wah. That makes you want to sing that song. We're all in our places with our bright, shiny faces.
I never heard that song.
I've never heard that song either.
It's
I
like,
know, sorry.
really?
I'm a loser.
All right. Well, since we're waiting, let's see. Kyle, you remember that song?
Hi, Leslie.
I don't think so.
I just saw her head poke in.
I mean, maybe if I heard it, I'd know it, but
I just texted her the link
Right.
too, Brianna. Yeah.
You text who the link?
I texted the ALC because I have the new link.
Good morning to you. We're all in our places with sunshiny faces.
There you go.
Oh, this is
Wasn't making it up. I was listening to it. I'm telling you. Good
You made it
morning
up.
to you.
What is
We're
that
all in our
from?
Places. You just haven't heard it in the melody that I sing it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who has a song they want to sing in our prelude this morning?
I don't sing.
I only want non-singers to sing. Marcy, are you a good singer?
No, I'm not.
All right, let's hear it. What's your favorite song to sing?
I'll tell you later.
All right, who else can't sing? Diana, how about you? You a good singer?
That would be a no, I am
Okay,
not.
cool. So what's your favorite song to sing?
What's my favorite song to sing?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
come on. Yeah, you do. What's your go-to song? We all got a go-to song.
Oh, put
I have a go-to song.
What is it?
It's Jar of Hearts.
Does everyone know it?
I don't know that.
I'm not going to sing it either, so don't ask me.
Jar of Hearts, is that the band or is that the name of the
No.
song?
The name of the song is Jar of Hearts.
Oh,
See, I don't know a whole lot of songs. Sorry.
I also think,
You
what's
do.
that one by Journey? Not, Lights. I like that one too. That's a
what
good
is it?
one. Lights by Journey.
Oh, yeah.
By Journey?
Journey. I was singing it yesterday.
Oh, okay. My husband's now singing that song.
Oh, good.
All right, Diane
Thanks for
Johnson,
that.
you're going to sing a song. Sing your favorite
Oh, hell
song.
no.
A song.
I'm
I
with you,
can't carry a
Diane.
tune in a bucket.
Really?
Hey, TJ.
Really.
Oh, that is funny.
Hi, guys.
You guys are-
All right, Blair, sing your favorite song. I'm just picking random people as I'm seeing them come on.
Can you hear me?
Jen Miller, you don't get to sing because you actually can sing. Jenna Deacon is not on yet. She doesn't get to sing because she too can
Neither
sing.
is Jen Miller. She can't sing. She's
She
not
can
allowed.
sing.
No, she can't.
How about-
She's not. No, she can't sing. I'm saying she can't sing because she can sing.
Right, exactly. Tracy can because she can.
That's confusing, by the way.
Very
Danny,
confusing.
Danny, how about you? Danny C.
My favorite song, can you hear me?
Happy
Yes.
birthday. I know.
You're right. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
See?
Actually, close your door, Danny.
Hold on a second.
That
You
was
see it?
awesome.
Oh my God.
How many days?
Tracy just said somewhere over the rainbow.
340.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one, Tracy. I like that one.
Somewhere. Call vote. What's your favorite song? Your go-to song? He can kind of sort of sing, actually.
I don't know. I don't know.
Come on, dude.
Probably like something
Oh, you muted his-
like from the Steve Miller Band. Probably. Honestly, that's what my go-to would be.
Wow. I just learned something about my son today.
Just because they're fun to sing, you know?
What song?
I don't know.
So
All right.
everyone next week must bring their song.
Both of you can sit inside.
Okay, cool. You all ready?
Yep.
All right, we're going to jump in. We have an awesome team meeting this morning. We're going to rifle through some things, and we have fabulous Michael Putnam, who's going to take over the show. Good morning, Michael. Thanks for being here for us this morning. Appreciate it so much. And off we go into the wild blue yonder.
All right.
Y'all sitting down?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So we're going to have a little conversation about this quote this morning. This poster actually hangs in my garage. Who would like to read our quote this morning? Go ahead.
To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift.
Okay, cool. Diana, thank you. So here's what I ask myself, and I want to ask all of us this morning to hear from a few of you. So what in your life do you feel that maybe you've been sacrificing that you're gifted in? Might be your real estate. You know, you might not be achieving the level that you want, and based on what you know your capabilities, it might be in your relationships. It might be in anything that you do. So where's an area in your life that you feel like maybe you have, that you're gifted and you've not yet fully stepped into your gifts?
For me, I think it's weird. I love to talk, but I don't call multiple. I don't call my family. I don't call a lot, like friends, something like that. It's the weirdest thing. I love to talk. So I'll talk to anyone in the office for 10 minutes. But it just, for me, I think that's, for me, is I don't spend enough time reaching out to my family, reaching out to my friends, and then eventually, and then down the road, clients and all that. And that's what I need to get better at.
Okay, cool. So Corey, what I heard you say is you have a gift in family and friends, and yet you've not been intentional about touching them consistently. Is that fair?
That is fair.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Who else? Okay, great job. Appreciate everyone's participation this morning. You're doing fabulous. Think about that. I want you to think about it in your life. What's something that you can begin today with one simple step that when you look back in the next 1 to 3 to 5 years, again, it might be your health, it might be your business, who knows what it is, but what's one simple thing that I can do today? And for Corey, it might be he does nothing else but actually pick up the phone and call 3 to 5 people that he knows and loves, that he hasn't said, I know I haven't talked to you in a while and just want to tell you how much I care about you. All right, awesome. Next slide, young lady. All right, so with that same thought in mind, what are we grateful for this morning?
I'll go.
Go.
So I was out for a walk this morning and walked past this plant, and it had this beautiful flower that just had bloomed. And I stopped and I walked back to that flower and I took a picture and I posted it this morning, because the thought that went through my mind was how grateful I am for these little things that drop in our laps or pop into our minds, thoughts that under today's circumstances, with everything that's going on, and, sometimes it can kind of be like the sky is falling. I was just so grateful to see that beautiful, innocent little flower.
Yeah.
To show us there is so much beauty in this world if we just stop and look.
Yeah. PJ, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That is really, really poignant and beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Okay, who else?
Tracy put in there, I'm very grateful for the 94 years that I've had with my beautiful mother.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'm grateful for being back to the office.
Carol's back.
Thank you.
She was never gone, and now she's back. Yeah, I don't get to hug you every morning yet, and I'm glad I get to see you every morning now. So, okay, who else?
Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Blair.
Hey, how you doing? I'll throw one out there. I'm grateful for all the things that I'm really not grateful for, meaning like problems, right?
Yeah.
Because problems are just the little hurdles or the little roadblocks or little detours that get us to the thing we're all striving and working so hard for, which is the happiness. So I'm really grateful for the fact that I have problems, which means I have a lot to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And a lot of good coming my way in the future. So thanks.
Yeah. Amen to that. Thanks, Blair. Who else?
Well, I'm grateful to two of my clients. I got 2 deals going on right now. Simultaneously. I'm happy to help them out.
Yeah. Sam, that's awesome. Thank you.
Welcome.
Who else?
Hi, Chris. It's Sharon Robinson.
Hey, Sharon, good to see you.
I'm no longer with your office, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to be on this Zoom call so that I can listen to Michael talk today.
Awesome.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome. Glad you could make it, Sharon. Great to see and hear from you. Well, I only see your picture, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
Me either, but I just showed up. So anyhow, okay, who else? Thank you for sharing that, Shannon.
I'll jump in as a guest on the call. I want to say, Sharon, I'm grateful for you saying what you just said. I really appreciate that. As well as I'm grateful for my son, Jack, turning the corner and not peeing in his bed for the last 30 days.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Awesome.
I've done the same thing. I have something I'm grateful for.
Yes, sir.
Some of you may know that my daughter and her husband and their 2 kids, like 2.5 and 6 months old, have been living with us for about the past 1.5 years. And a couple of Fridays ago, they moved out. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, right. There's a country song. You're gonna miss this. You're gonna want to. Everybody know that song?
Yeah, I know that song.
All right, there we go. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Danny.
Welcome.
And Michael, thank you too. Okay, anybody else?
I'll go. I've had a weird 2 weeks. I feel like I've just been off. And it's good to, just with everything going on, all the craziness, sort of to piggyback off of what Blair was talking about. The problems that I have in my life are they're pretty small in the grand scheme of things, which is a weird thing to be grateful for. And also just to be grateful for the fact that even if you go through like a funk, you can get out of it and have your energy and still, we're still alive and kicking and have my health and my family and finances, and yeah, everything's good. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, buddy. All right, anyone else? Going once, going twice. I'm grateful for 2 things. I'm grateful for, I went on a 35-mile bike ride last Saturday morning with my son, the aforementioned Kyle Vogt, my 2 son-in-laws, and I'm just so grateful at almost age 54 that I have the physical ability to not quite keep up with the youngsters, and just to have that experience in that time. And I can tell you, if you ever want a great reason to get yourself in good physical condition, it's a really cool way to hang out with your loved ones. And I'm super grateful for many of you. And I just want to point out Danny C, because Danny, he just has this amazing ability to cause people to smile and laugh. And so, Danny, I just want to just thank you for, you can be a very serious person when need be, and you keep it light. And I just, I want to be the first one to wish you happy birthday for next year. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll get you my list.
Yes, yeah. All right, next slide. All right, Karen Dunn, mortgage minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, all. Well, if you can see, I'm back in my office. So I am very, very happy to be back here in the break room. So come by and see me in person. I'd love to say hello to you all. I've been loving watching everybody go.
Oops.
Did we lose her?
She muted herself.
She got muted. Karen, you're on mute.
Still muted.
Oh, can't hear you. Marcy, can you try unmuting her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What she's saying here.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
I wasn't able to unmute myself. The host muted me.
I didn't, Karen, I swear.
So did you guys hear anything?
Just the first part.
Okay. So I'm back in my office. But the good news is with Big Valley Mortgage, we're testing out something right now with e-signing of the final loan documents. Not all of them. There still needs to be some that need to be done in front of the notary, but the majority of the package will be e-sign. So great news for your clients. It'll be much easier when they are at the signing table. It will be more convenient for you if you because they'll be a lot shorter now. So good news, we should have that rolled out to the company in the next month or so. So we'd like to hear good news all of a sudden. Not sure if anybody heard, but today the California's court is meeting to decide if they're going to end the moratorium on evictions as early as August 3rd. So that could be some good news for your investor clients. So stay tuned and be the resource for your investor clients and let them know the good news if that happens. That's pretty much it for Mortgage Minute. Rates are still low. Conventional 3.125, FHA 2.75. Now let's all get out there and sell. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate it very much. And it is good to see you back at the high top. All right. Paydays.
Woo! Okay, everybody unmute yourself, or Mercy unmute everybody. One or the other. Are you ready?
Y'all ready for this?
Come, Mercy, go.
Here we go.
Garrett, Annalyn Miller Group, Sai, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca, Steve, Infinity Group, Tina, Albiani.
Connie, Oh Real Estate Group, Old Group, Michelle Wong, Mode Real Estate Group, Nicole Heffernan. Woo! 21. Job, guys.
Yay! Congratulations.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're still in the real estate business. We're doing quite well. So, by the way, a big part of that is Amber and her team, productivity coaching. And so, Amber, take it away.
Yeah, awesome. Well, on that list of paydays, you see Rebecca Rodriguez had her first closing. Love to celebrate her. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for plugging in and doing a great job with your clients. She was at a previous brokerage for about a year, comes to Keller Williams within her first month, has a transaction going and closing it. So awesome job. Productivity coaching, we have some special things planned for you coming up over the next few weeks. Join us for Monday morning motivation with myself and your ALC. So for the next several weeks, we'll be featuring an ALC member on the Monday session. And I'll be interviewing them on how do they stay motivated, what are they doing to lead generate business. Success leaves clues. And we have such an amazing group of agents. So I thought that'd be a great way for us all to stay connected and motivated. And then we have launch coaching 1 p.m. on Wednesdays. And this week I'm bringing back group coaching, coffee and coaching on Thursdays. So would love to see everyone in the office on there for that Zoom, and looking forward to getting back into the routine of that.
Cool.
Thank you.
Amber, thank you. So as we go to our next slide, I do want to mention something before we get to our tech update, and that is we have, sometimes when you're part of a family and a really awesome family, it's easy to take things for granted. And when we look at what we have to offer our agents and all of you and people who are on the Zoom, whether it be Amber's program, Bold Pivot, Spring Masterminds, so on and so forth, we have pretty much everything anyone needs to succeed and knock it out of the park. So more and more, we're going to be reaching out to many of you in an effort to help you take better advantage of all the opportunities that are available to you to grow you and to ultimately grow your business, because we know that our businesses grow to the extent that we do. All right. Tech. All right.
Tech. Well, so the first announcement is exporting is available for everybody. So if any contacts that you own in Command, you can now export them. You don't have to batch 50 at a time. So if you want to export to a spreadsheet, you're now capable of doing that. They're also working on fixing the mailing labels. It says you can do the mailing labels right now, but it's a little bit, it works, but it has some room for improvement. So that's coming very shortly. So you'll be able to print out mailing labels for all of your people. I'm also going to be doing more one-on-one trainings with people if they need them. And I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. So if you need a one-on-one just to work on whatever part of Command that you need, if it's basics, if it's advanced, if it's lead accelerator or anything, I'm going to put that a scheduling website that you can just pick a time and then we'll either do Zoom or meet in person. And then that way I can help wherever help is needed. So there you go. Cool. Oh, and then also I'm going to put a Loom in the chat as well of how exactly to export mailing labels or all of your contacts.
Awesome. Thank you, Calvo. All right, next. Lori.
I don't think I can. Crap.
You're good.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We heard you say, oh, crap.
Oh, great. Okay, I'm in my car driving to the office.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
So,
and I didn't know that I was unmuted.
Yep.
Okay. So we have a growth committee meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and I'd love for everybody from the growth committee to be there, but everybody in the office, all the agents are invited. We got started on the growth committee, but we got off to a bang, and then COVID hit. So we are, and we kind of shut down for a couple of months. We're back at it, and we're going strong, and we have some great ideas that we're going to be talking about implementing tomorrow. So join us at 11 o'clock in the training room.
And we will social distance appropriately, just so everyone knows.
Yes, we will.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Lori. Appreciate you taking the lead on that. All right, next. All right, without further ado, many of you have heard Michael speak before. Some of you, so you know what a treat you're in for now. Some of you maybe have never heard Michael speak, and you are definitely in for a treat. So Michael Putnam, first of all, take it away. Second of all, thank you so much for investing your time into our market center, into our agents this morning.
Oh, well, first of all, it is absolutely a pleasure, and thank you for having me. And I want everybody just to take a moment, and I want you to picture. I want to picture the days before and the days that will come again where you're at a barbecue. There's meat or vegan or whatever you cook is on the barbecue. You can smell it. You're having great conversation with friends. Maybe there's kids swimming in the pool. There's badminton or some sort of game going on the side. Can you picture that? Can you feel it? Can you sense it? And then picture this. You're having a conversation with your friends. And inevitably, it goes around to what's new in life, what are you doing? And 3, you're having a conversation with 4 people, and 3 of them say to you, actually, we bought a home or we sold a home in the last 6 months without you. Just how does that feel? I'm saying this for the 50th or 60th time, and I still get a sinking feeling in my stomach because that happened to me. Now, I'm the type of person that's willing to say, okay, well, let's dig into this a little bit farther. Tell me why. Tell me how that happened. How did you find your agent, or why did you choose not to even have a conversation with me? And you want to take a wild guess what every single one of them said? I forgot you were in the business.
They didn't know.
I didn't know you were in the business. I forgot you were in the business. Now, how would you feel if that happened to you? This is actually a story from 2015 for me. And in that moment, I vowed to never let that happen again. So what we're going to talk about here today is digging deeper into your database, really, really refining your approach to how you build and maintain relationships over time. I think a few of you on this call would say this if I asked you the question directly: does Michael Putnam follow up? Does Michael Putnam stay engaged? Does Michael Putnam want to be in your life and be in front of you? And some of you would have to say, yeah, almost too much. And you know what? There's a phrase I've come up with. I want you to think about this, if not write it down. It is not their responsibility to remember that you're in real estate. It is your job and your privilege to never let them forget that. Let me repeat that. It is not their responsibility to remember that you are in real estate. It is your job and your privilege to never let them forget that. And I stole that quote from somewhere else. I don't remember where. We all hear things, we regurgitate them, we change them, we make them our own. And I've applied that to my life as well. And I'll just give you a quick anecdote around that. About 2 years ago, I started a process of where I sent my wife a text every single day that said something I appreciate about her. Because we're just not the communicative type. We don't communicate a lot during the day because I'm at work, she's at work, she's with the kids. And so I started texting her every day. And on the back of a book I was able to print out for her after about a year and a half that had all these texts in it, it said, it's not your responsibility to remember that I love you. It's my privilege and my honor to never let you forget it. Do you see how you can learn one from the other? You can apply the principles of your life to the principles of your business. Is it okay to have both? Is it okay for your friends to know that you're there as a constant source of support, of confidence, of just an ear to listen, and also earn business from them? I think the answer is obviously a resounding yes. If most of us on this call believe that we would like to have a business at some point in the future where it's mostly built on referrals and repeat business, if that is you, if that is your vision for your business, will you raise your hand, say aye, or put yes in the comment section? And already I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads, I'm seeing a lot of hands. Most of us, if not all of us, would like to have a business at some point. See a lot of thumbs up, I appreciate that, Sharon. That is not us going out and hunting over and over and over again. Now, do we need to hunt a little? Will this take the place of prospecting for us right now? Some of you might be able to say yes. The majority of us have to say no. And yet, if we're constantly chasing the next sale, meaning we're constantly chasing the next relationship, the new relationship, what are we potentially leaving behind? All the relationships we built over the course of months, years, decades even. Well, if we're doing one and we're forgetting about the other, we're in for a world of hurt down the road. I don't know about you. And if you are in this game of real estate and you just absolutely love the mechanics of it and you are okay hitting the phones and putting up open house signs and doing those things for the rest of your career into your 70s, 80s, 90s, bless you, fantastic, no judgment. That was not my goal. My goal was how fast can I get out of weekends? Yes, that was one of my goals when I got in real estate. And number 2 is how quickly can I build a business that feeds itself? And 2015 was a rude awakening. That year I made 36,000 phone calls, outbound phone calls, chasing the next sale. And I forgot about a big portion of my business. In fact, so much so that my business tripled and I actually did less transactions with my friends, family, and previous clients that year. That's unheard of, especially in a market that's growing. So I made a commitment. How am I actually going to stay in front of them more and let them know that I care about them as a person first and foremost, because I believe that that will be the basis for everything moving forward. If they know and I know that we're relationship based and that we are here in this earth together and we're going to do good things for each other as humans, then I have a chance of earning some business too. Does that make sense? I think it does. So it's okay to have both. Now, I'm going to dive into some specifics and I want you to stop me. And if there's someone that could monitor the chat and stop me if I'm just continuously going over and I'm not seeing the chat because I don't pay attention to it all the time, let me know. It's okay to stop me. The key here is that you've got to be consistent with this. So Corey, I'm going to pick on you for a second. You don't have to unmute yourself. I heard you say earlier, I'm not calling the people I already know. How many people raise of hands or yes in the chat box can say, that's me too? Yeah, a lot of hands are going up. What is the number one reason? And I'll answer the question for you. What's the number one reason that we choose not to do that? Because it's a choice. Usually what I hear, it's usually one of two. The number one is I don't want to feel salesy. I don't want them to feel like I'm always asking them for help. Then stop. Stop. Think about a friend that may have started a new business or has had a business for a while that every time they call you, every time they text you, every time they direct message you, it's always, hey, have you checked this out? Hey, could you buy this from me? Hey, you should join this. Hey, you should be a part of this. Hey, do you start tuning them out a little bit every time? We all do. It's very, very normal. So again, I want you to be a source of just connection. And I'm going to give you some specifics now. We'll dive into some more in just a minute. Here's some questions I want you to ask your people. And when I say your people, whatever that database is for you. This could be a database of leads you've curated over the last 6 months or 12 months or 24 months. Likely it's going to be more of your friends, your family, your old schoolmates, church mates, whatever that is. Start with how are you? Just ask them how they're doing. How are you holding up through all of this? Man, I don't know about you, although the last 3 months have been some of the craziest months in my entire life. We think we're moving through something and then bam, we're hit with something else that we needed to be hit with, in my opinion. I'm not going to go deep into that. That's causing a lot of different conversations. People are not sure how to react right now. People are not sure what's going on in the world. They were already uncertain, and now there's a different uncertainty there too. Some people just need a release. Some people just need to have someone say, are you okay? How are you doing through this whole thing? You don't have to talk about real estate. Here's what I know. If you constantly reach out to the people that are most important to you, that also would likely be most important to your business, and you keep it about them, what will inevitably happen? It will circle back to you. Now, you're not using this as a manipulation technique. You're not using this just to get to that point. If you truly and authentically care about the people in your life, you will stay in touch with them. We all feel better when we help others. I don't think there's a single person on this call, because I don't believe you'd be with Keller Williams or on this call with Keller Williams or associated with Keller Williams or most brokerages if you didn't truly care about people. Put that at the forefront. Understand that they're people too. They need connection. And I asked myself a question when this whole thing started. This is kind of a side rant. I asked myself the question after about a week, how many phone calls have I received since this whole thing started, since the lockdown hit? And the answer was 0. So I took that question back to my team. I've got a team of 26 people, and I asked them all, how many calls have you received during this lockdown? Now, this is about 2.5 weeks into it. The overwhelming answer was 0. And I know how I felt. Now, I'm not a needy person. I don't need people to call me and check in on me. And do I still like it? Yeah, I do. I want to be significant in other people's lives. I want to be connected. I need it too. So if I and 26 other human beings are not receiving that, is it likely that most of the people in their databases are not receiving it too? So imagine if you were to call one person today, Corey, if you were to call one person in your database today and just say, hey, I was thinking about you and I want to see how you're doing. I don't know where that call is going to go. I don't know what the conversation is going to lead to. It may lead to nothing other than you feel a little bit better about you. They feel a little bit better about your relationship, and maybe they are happier in the moment. As an example, I did start placing those calls. That's a big part of my day right now. And I had someone reach out to me afterwards. It was a quick call. We were just checking in, and then he called me back later and said, hey, thank you. Thank you for reaching out to me. I'm going through a massive bout of depression right now. I've moved out of my home area. I've moved into a totally foreign place for me. Everything's locked down. I haven't seen people in weeks. And man, I was fighting it. And just to have someone reach out and have a connection with me and have a conversation with me changed my day. That was one call, just one call. Could you do that over and over and over again? And by the way, you're going to be drained at the end of the day if you're making these types of calls. I'd rather be drained at the end of the day because I poured a lot of energy into other people than be drained at the end of the day because I was working on stuff that didn't matter. Top 20% is relationships. So my point is, simple question of how are you holding up during this? Here's a couple more. And I learned this from a mentor of mine just a few weeks ago, actually. We can learn a ton about what's going on in our world, and we can learn a ton about the people in our businesses or our lives if we just ask them, what's your perspective on this whole thing? What are you experiencing during this whole thing? And then you have to be willing to listen. Don't use that question as a way to get into a debate. Don't use that question as a way to then combat maybe their beliefs. Everybody on this call, everybody out there wants two things: to look good and be right. Now, I know that's shallow. At the same time, it's true. And I believe in giving people what they want to a point. If we have a vehement disagreement on something, that's okay, we'll debate it. I've had hour-long debates around things over the last few weeks. Great, fine. That's not the purpose of the call. Let them get something out. How are you? What are you experiencing through this? And what's your perspective on this? What's going on in your world? If you want a specific model for this, everybody, and you've probably heard this, it's Ford. It's Ford. You start with those questions. What's the family experiencing through this? Ford, F-O-R-D. What's your family experiencing through this? How is your family doing? How's work? Man, I know that you work for one of the larger chicken processing plants. This is an actual story. What's going on with you? We're really good on this side. Well, this side though, the restaurant supply business down 98%. Oh man, how's that affecting you? How's that affecting the family? You learn a lot about people. You learn a lot about their perspective. Recreation, R. What are you doing for fun right now? We all need to stay sane. What are you doing on this call? This is an actual question to you. What are you all doing for yourself to stay sane? If that's hiking, if that's 35-mile bike ride with your two son-in-laws and your son, fantastic. I've been choosing to get outside a lot. You may have seen this if you follow me on social media. I'm in the woods a lot right now. I'm climbing mountains. I'm doing whatever I can to just stay in tune with nature because that's my release. Find out what they're doing, because if they're not doing anything, they're boxing themselves in, and maybe you can be the reason why they get out of that box. Maybe, at least a small piece of it. And then D is for dreams. It's a little awkward to ask people about their dreams right now. So that one I'm sometimes pushing off or asking it a different way. Well, what are you going to do when this whole thing ends? What are you going to continue doing that you've learned to do during this? What's next for you? It's a simple way to ask that question. Point is simple questions to connect. If I asked you, anybody on this call, if I asked you those 4, 5, 6 questions, would at some point during the conversation, unless they are extremely busy or very self-centered, will they at some point say, hey, how about you, Michael? What's new with you? How is your wife? How are your kids? How's your job? Is that an opportunity for me to make two choices? Either dive into it or deflect? Absolutely. It's not about me. If they ask me about real estate, here's my response. It's great, love helping people, and I really just wanted to see how you were doing and check in on you. Is there anything I can do for you? Not as a real estate agent, as a human, as a friend, as a family member, whatever. What can I do for you? Now, again, and I'm seeing in the chat, I don't want to bother them. You're not bothering them. And if you are bothering them with those types of questions, how strong was the relationship in the first place? And could you make it stronger by having these types of conversations? I think so. Now, I said authentic and I said consistent. If you haven't talked to me in 6, 8, 10, 12, 24 months, and you come at me with those types of questions, it's going to be a little awkward at first. Are you willing to get past the awkwardness and ask the big questions? You've probably heard Gary Keller say it. You've probably heard some other people say it. We are paid in direct proportion to the level of questions that we are willing to ask. We are paid in direct proportion to the level of questions we are willing to ask. How many people have asked you, what's your perspective on this whole thing? How are you experiencing this? Are you okay? And what can I do for you? Very few have probably asked you that question too. If you want what most people want and that most people won't have, you've got to do and ask the questions that other people won't do or ask. All right, now I told you I'd get some specifics. I promise I would, and I will right now. If you're wondering if you're a C or an S on, hey, well, this all sounds great. Maybe I'm a little bit inspired, or Michael sucks at this, whatever, it's fine. And here's some specifics for you. Those of you that went through Bold Pivot just last month, that ended, I think, about a week ago or so, maybe 2 weeks ago, or Bold Classic or Bold 2.0, they have a thing called DTD2. Now, I'm not going to just give you the DTD2. You can find that anywhere you want. The Office has it, Bold has it. Although I want to make sure I give you some context before I launch into what I've chosen to do with the DTD2. The DTD2 states that if you call 2 letters of the alphabet every single week, you will make it through the entire alphabet once a quarter. The previous recommendation was calling your entire database once a quarter and using the Ford script. They pivoted, hence Bold Pivot, and they changed it to DTD4. Do the database 4. Accelerate the frequency by 2. That means you're calling 4 letters of the alphabet per week. You're making it through it every 6 weeks, basically. That's good. It's increased intensity and frequency. Love it. And what they added in that I love the most was some of the stuff we just talked about. Really finding out what's going on in their lives, really helping them. Now, here's how I've changed it for my business. And I did this 5 years ago, and I still use it today. Credit where credit's due, never ending referrals in bold, never, or do the database 2 and do the database 4. I changed it to do the database 2 by 3. Now, don't worry about writing all this down because it's a lot. If you want it, feel free to text me or email me. Chris and everybody at the office has my contact information. The DTD2 by 3 is very, very simple. I'm not just going to wait to call you again in 6 weeks or 12 weeks. I'm going to hit you in between too. And here's what I mean by that. If you, let's say, I'm going to use Chris as my guinea pig. If I was calling the D's and the V's this week, that's not the actual letters. Although if I was calling the D's and the V's and vote is one of those, I call Chris this week. Fantastic. We have a conversation or he doesn't call me back. That's fine. Either way, it's okay. It's the intention and it's the purpose of making the contact or the call. I'm going to text him next month. I'm going to then touch him in some other way the following month, whether that's a handwritten card, a Facebook message. I prefer Facebook message. Only a handful of people get handwritten cards for me typically. It's just not in my bailiwick. Or I'm going to schedule some time to get face-to-face. What does that do if I cycle back through this every 3 months? What does that how often does that put me in front of Chris? Every single month. Now, if you supplement that with a 2-touch, like through an email system, through command, or we have a marketing team that does it for us, great, fantastic. That means Chris is getting 2 emails per month from me. He's getting a call from me every 3 months. He's getting a text from me at least, and this is, by the way, at least every 3 months, a Facebook message or a handwritten card or a face-to-face every 3 months as well. I'm touching on Chris 36 times. Does that sound familiar?
Smidge.
36 to connect. It's extremely simple to follow. I built a grid for it that all of you are happy to or welcome to have. I'd be happy to give it to you. Just shoot me an email. I'll fire it off to you. You can calendar every single thing. The D's and the V's will show up in my calendar this week as calls. The A's and the W's will show up in my calendar this week as texts. And all I have to do is sit there and say, thank you, calendar, for telling me what to do. Now I'm going to go do it. So I get to take the thinking out of it. And then I just get to call Chris and say, hey, Chris, how are you, man? How you been? What can I do for you? What are you experiencing through this? What's your perspective on things? Is there anything in the world that I could do for you? Will Chris and I have a better relationship in 6 months, in 12 months, if I actually follow this consistently? Yes. Are some of you wondering and worrying, well, what do I do on the text the 2nd month? Or what do I do on the call the 4th month? Stop overthinking it. Just say hi. Hey, man, just want to touch base again, see how you're doing. What's new? Whatever the world is throwing at us at that point, we might talk about that. If we're clear of some things or we're moving on progress towards some other things, we might talk about that too. It's okay. It does not matter that much. I'll give you an example. I sent 475 texts in a single day on Super Bowl Sunday. And some of you on this call may have even received them. All it said was, go Rams. This is 2 years ago. Go Rams with a big thumbs up, because I'm a Rams fan. Now, some of you are like, well, that's a pointless text to send. I had 2 hours. I was going to use it to be productive. I had 245 conversations over the next 24 hours. Will your business grow if you have 245 conversations over 2 days? If you stay consistent, I'm going to keep coming back to consistency and authenticity. I'm a Rams fan. I wanted everybody to know about it. And I also wanted to create some conversations I wouldn't have had otherwise. So specifically how you can actually implement the DTD2 or the DTD4 or the DTD2 by 3. I know I just threw out a lot of acronyms. Is pick your top 10%. Corey, I'm looking at you on the screen right now. Pick your top 1 if you need to and start there. Pick your top 10% is the way I choose to do it. I have a database of over 2,400 people. I'm not going to call 2,400 people with a check-in every single month. I just won't. I know that about myself. And so I'm willing to say, great, that means about 1,800 or 2,200 aren't getting calls. They're getting other things. And my top 10% of 240, they'll get a call. And not every month. I miss things too, just like everybody on this call. Your top 10%, if you have a 100-person database, that's 10 people. Can you make 10 phone calls this week to say, hi, I care about you, how are you? Yeah. Then you can add 10% once you've got the habit down. There's a great book I want you to pick up if you're interested in reading and learning about habits. It's called Atomic Habits. Fantastic book. And it talks about the keystone habit. The small, short-term thing that you can do that has to happen for the bigger, longer-term habits to kick in. It uses marathon running as an example. If you're going to be a marathon runner and you haven't run ever or in a long time, you don't necessarily need to say, I'm a marathon runner. I'm going to go be a marathon runner. Maybe the habit that you actually need to create is putting on your shoes every day, lacing up those running shoes. Start there, and then open the door, and then go outside, and then walk a little bit. Get step by step. 10% of your database, 5% of your database, one person, whatever. It's up to you. All right, I'm going to dive into a couple little different things here that I think are you might want to consider, and they're having some tremendous effect in my business. Before I just jump into talking about a little bit of video and things like that, and if you have any questions about what we just talked about, stop me. It's okay. When this whole thing hit and we were all locked down, we were isolated, we were quarantined, the question I asked, which you all heard me say earlier, was how many calls, how much connection am I receiving right now, and how much connection then am I giving? That was the key, was flipping the question into, if I'm not receiving it, they're probably not receiving it. So how can I become that person for them? And I made a commitment in that moment to follow this program as well as start getting more visual with people. And what I mean there is video. Now, again, some of you probably just tuned out. Video, not going to happen. Some of you aren't on video on this call. I get it. We don't always need to be on video on Zoom. It's totally appropriate sometimes. And a lot of us are hesitant to use video in any format because we don't like how we look and we don't like how we sound on video. I got news for you. You look and you sound like that in real life. You're all beautiful. You all have great voices. Don't worry about it. You look and you sound like this when you're on the phone, when you're in person. So just start to get over it. Understand that it's okay. You are who you are. You look how you look. You sound like you sound. Be okay with it. Now, why I chose to use video is because face-to-face is the best thing we can have. Everybody on this call would probably agree that I'm better belly-to-belly. Would we all say, I'm better belly-to-belly? I don't need the phones. I don't like the phones. I'm better belly-to-belly. I know I am. I believe it. And yet, if I don't have the ability to be belly-to-belly with you right now, what's the second best thing I can do? What we're doing right now. And so I chose to make the commitment of every person that has a birthday is going to receive a birthday video from me. Now, I've missed about 5 to 10%. I miss them on the weekend sometimes. I come back and catch up and do belated birthday videos. It's extremely simple. Does everybody on here understand that Facebook tells us who has birthdays every single day? Yeah, thank you, Facebook, for the leverage. I really, really appreciate it because I will never remember that. It's hard for me to remember my own. And so every morning or every afternoon when I have the time, I schedule it now because I didn't make the time before. I look and I see who's got a birthday today. Who could I touch that someone else told me it was a special day for them, so I can just go and be a special person for them or a special message. Anywhere between 8 and 20 per day for me based on the size of the Facebook database I've got. And if you're wondering, well, do I need lighting kits? Do I need a professional setup for this? The answer is absolutely no. In fact, you shouldn't do these professionally, in my opinion. This is where the authenticity comes in. If you go and look on my Facebook, well, you can't look on my Facebook page. If you go see videos of birthdays from me to some of you on this call and to some people out there, I'm usually wearing a baseball cap or I'm sitting with my headset around my neck. I'm sitting in my garage and I'm just saying, hey, it's your special day. Happy birthday. I almost always, unless I can't pronounce their name, which happens, I don't want to mess it up, so I don't always say their name, just transparently speaking. I will say, hey, Jessica, it's your special day. I want to wish you a very happy birthday. I hope you're well. I hope you're staying safe and enjoying yourself. Happy birthday. Something along those lines. Now, does that sound mind-blowing to anybody on the call? How many people on the call are doing it? Or something like that? I can't hear you. I can only see a couple of you. So I'm assuming very few. Would you like to know what's happened in the last 9 weeks since I started this? 16 referrals.
Yes.
16 referrals. Now, not all to my team, not all to me. Although I traced it back, I went back and looked at all 16 referrals and found out that 9 of them were from people I had recently sent a video to that I really didn't have a ton of relationship with prior to that. Now, you can't just stop with the video. The video is just the way to kick off something. I then a lot of times will take it offline and turn it into a direct message or turn it into a call. There's a reason why I'm posting it to people's walls. And I'm lingering on this for a few moments because I think it's such great leverage for you and making someone feel special at the same time. The leverage you gain from posting these videos directly to people's walls, if we use Facebook as the example, some of you might be more on Instagram and things like that. This is just where it's easier, is Facebook. Is that if you haven't noticed on the right side of Facebook, After someone watches a video, what's over on the right side? Yep, I see Lauren mouthing it, the queue of other videos. My wife went through her video feed on her Facebook page and counted out of 45 videos, I was 41 of them. 41 of 45. Do you think I'm earning some mind share with my wife? Hopefully I already have some. Do you think I'm earning some mind share with people out there as well? Here's the whole point around it. If I'm putting it in front of you and other people are seeing it and it's staying there, I'm touching you at a deeper level than I am if I just say happy birthday or if I don't say anything at all. I'm getting in front of a bunch of people in your database. I'm okay with that. I like to spread into people's databases if I can through positive messages. And I just linger for 5 or 6 minutes. I know it sounds like I'm a virus. I'm not trying to be, I promise. Point is, I want to be in front of as many people as possible. Now that's just one source of video. You can choose to do this via text. You can choose to do this via direct message, whatever makes the most sense for you. I just look at life like this. If I'm going to do it, I want to get as much win and as much legs from it as possible. Sending it to you in a direct message, how many people see it? Putting it on your wall, how many people see it? Maybe 1 or maybe 20 or maybe 100. Super, super simple. Now, here's the other way to use video in your social media or in general. 2 main ways I'm going to give you, and then we can open this up to some questions. Very, very simple as well. Tell a story about your life. Some of you probably saw a video I posted on Friday night. I was playing dodgeball on the stairs with my 2 twin boys who are almost 6 years old. They were in their underwear. They're rarely clothed. And most people know that about them. And I was throwing a bouncy ball from the bottom of the stairs at them for, I mean, this goes on for 45 minutes. This video clip's maybe 18 seconds long. The most watched video on my Facebook private page ever. Ever. I'm telling a story around what my life looks like. I want people to engage. I want people to see my name scroll up from the bottom of their screen, of their phone, their tablet, whatever that is, and see Michael Putnam pop up and say, maybe I'll slow down, even if it's subconscious, slow down just a little bit to see what that idiot or that crazy person posted today. I'm okay with that. Because then when you slow down the next time and something pops up that's business related, I've just gained an extra split second of visibility. Do you see my point? Tell a story around what your life is like. It's okay to connect. Remember, social media is all about really connecting with people, showing them what your life looks like, whether it's the highlight reel or it's your real life, whatever you choose to do, that's your choice. No judgment on my side. And then tell a story around what your business looks like too. I'd love to see more of us out there saying stories like, hey, I'm out in front of a house here in Pleasanton or in Tracy or in Elk Grove or in Sacramento, and I'm getting ready to do a virtual tour for my buyers because right now the market's hot. We can definitely help people get into homes. There are buyers that are out there willing and able, and we're making changes to make sure that we keep them safe and we get them to see a home. If you're interested, let me know. This is how we can help you and your friends too. I'd love to see us doing more of that stuff. If you want to take the message out of it completely, just show them a peek behind the real estate scenes. We don't need to have this veneer in front of us that says, this is what it looks like, and I'm not going to let you see what the actual hard work that goes behind this, because so many people out there right now think all we do, and all of us are out of business right now because all we were doing prior to COVID and prior to everything else was just sitting back waiting for someone to say, I want to buy this $500,000 house. And everybody on this call knows that that's not the case. Everybody knows that that's not the case. So show them a story. Show them what happens. Show them the grind, if you want to call it that. I don't think it's the grind. I think it's the fun. Show them that story. Now, last and not least, the only thing else I put on here, and then I want to open it up for you, is just remember the connection portion. I said it at the beginning. I said it just a few minutes ago too. Remember to connect. Corey, again, I'm kind of thinking of you. I'm picking on you, man, because you were one of the first people to speak earlier. When we connect with someone else, and we can actually help them, whether that's make them feel psychologically better, or maybe we help them get off their butts and go out and exercise because they haven't for a couple of weeks. Maybe they've fallen into that. I know I did for a little while, and I needed a friend to kick me in the butt virtually and say, go do something. If you could be that for someone else, does that fill your bucket? Does that fill your soul? If you are filling your bucket through helping other people and by doing stuff for yourself, self-care and whatever that looks like, do you operate at a higher or a lower level? Obviously a higher level. If I'm fulfilled because I know I'm here for a purpose, I'm helping other people, and I'm also taking care of myself, I will absolutely operate at a much higher level. If I recede, or if I don't reach out, if I don't connect, if I don't support, if I don't help, I shrink. And then I can't help as many people. And I don't know about you, I have the goal and the desire to help a ton of people. I don't know how in some ways yet. And the only way I know I will be able to is if I have that energy, and the energy comes, it's a great, beautiful cycle from helping other people too. So my challenge to you, I'll end with this, and then Chris, you can ask me anything you'd like or cut me off. My challenge to you is this: pick one person right after this call. If you've got a meeting to go into right away, cool, I get it. If you've got a conference call, I get it. Pick one person that you will call, text, message, whatever it is today, and just let them know you're grateful for them, or you're thinking about them, or you want to be here for them, something along those lines. And then don't stop. If you do one today, do one tomorrow. It takes you 2 weeks to get to 2 or 3 weeks to get to 5, that's fine. Just start doing it and let the dominoes then tip over themselves. So, Chris, there's my message for you for today. I hope that brought some information and value, and I'd be happy to go deeper into this with anybody and everybody if that's something you all would desire.
So, Michael, thanks again. I
Sure.
appreciate it very much, and I appreciate your willingness to take any questions. So, here's the deal, everyone. There's almost 50 of us on this currently. Everyone's muted, and you have an opportunity to ask Michael. Well, I'm going to say anything, but anything, and
anything.
So here's your opportunity. So let's ask away.
I have a question, Michael.
Okay.
So so the videos that you're posting, do you do lives? Do you do pre-recorded? Do you do them on your story, your wall, both? What do you think is the best?
Great question. And I am absolutely not a self-proclaimed master of social media whatsoever. I could be a ton better. And I'll give you a quick story and anecdote around that. That'll kind of answer a question and something I talked about earlier. I was afraid of video for a long time because I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like how I sounded. I didn't know what message to deliver. And if you go back through, I get memories every week now, because I went in 2016, I made the commitment. If video is going to be the wave of the future for media consumption, which by the way, a lot of studies out there show that 80% of all content will be media by 2025. 80% of all media consumption will be video by 2025. If you're not doing video now, you're going to be way behind. Just like Gary Keller is saying, if you're not on the forefront of technology, you're already behind. We've got to be on the front edge of that. So I heard that stat in 2016 or 17, and I said, all right, fine. And what I did, Lauren, was I committed to doing a recorded video once a week. That was my way of saying, I'm afraid of it, I'm anxious around it, I'm nervous about it, so I'm just going to do it anyways, because I know something about us, all of us. The more we do something, the better we get at it. The better we get at something, the more comfortable we become with it. The more comfortable, the more likely we are to continue doing it. So I just committed, and I started doing a recorded video every week. And then I transitioned to live, because as Facebook changes their algorithms and other social media platforms do as well, I want the max exposure. And so I started going live every Monday for Motivation Monday instead. It was me for about 60 to 90 seconds, just talking about something that struck me for the previous week. I stopped doing that. And there's a real key reason why, Lauren, is that it stopped becoming fun, or stopped being fun. And I started forcing it. And if I have to force something like that, I believe in our jobs, there are certain things we just have to do, even if they're boring or mundane or not all that enjoyable sometimes. We just have to. That's part of the world. That was something that wasn't part of my job. I was doing it for inspiration for myself and for others. And so it became less fun. I stopped. Okay. So to answer your question more directly, I'm just doing recorded videos right now, and I'll go live here and there. And in my head, I know that if I'm going to have a further reach by going live, I need to go live more often. I know that stories get put in front of people at a higher rate than just your posts on a news feed. I need to start building a story. And my choice to not do it yet was this: until I have truly felt that I have mastered one section of it, I'm not going to go do 2 and 3 and 4. It's like Jeff Woods, who's the director of The One Thing, talks about the 1-4-5 or the 1-3-5, as most people know it. You stay in column 1 until you nail it. And then you move to column 2, which is priority and number 2 in strategies 1 through 5. You stay in priority 1 until you nail it, and then you move over. And I haven't nailed priority 1 in social media. I'm still very much infant on that. I will move to stories. I will move back to more live videos. I will move to way more video in general. I'm just not there yet. Long answer to a very short question.
Okay.
So, hey, Michael, would you contend that done is better than perfect?
100%. In fact, I was about to say, thank you, Chris. If you go back to the beginning of 2017, when I first started doing Motivation Monday, they're awful. They're just absolutely awful. There's one where I'm sitting in a hotel room and it's bad lighting. I mean, I look like I was half dead. And there's a smoke detector on the ceiling behind me that looked like I was wearing a tiny little hat the entire time. It's just an awful video, terrible production, terrible content. And you know what? Fine. What my mentor told me after that, Chris, was this. In 10 days, nobody's going to remember it. And it's going to be buried by thousands of other things. So get over it. Now it's just fun when I see on my memories and it pops up. I go, oh, man, that was terrible. And it's a good chuckle because I'm a lot better today than I was then.
Okay. Thank you.
Question for you, Michael.
Sure, Vince.
TikTok. Do you play around with TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram some, and really not much. I'm still really, while Facebook is kind of becoming less and less important for some groups, it's still where I have my biggest following, my biggest interaction. So I'm staying there for right now. Instagram somewhat, not TikTok yet. I'm usually about a year behind on these types of platforms because I look at them and go, why would you ever want to use something like that? And then I realize that everybody wants to use it and I'm behind a little bit. So Vince, I haven't used it and I'm seeing some people do some really great things with it. So if you're going to do it, go do it and do it consistently and have fun with it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sorry if you start to cry.
Sorry.
So I have a question regarding, I guess, videos and your split between personal videos and business related videos and what your like goals are, the way that you put those out to the public. Are you really putting, business videos out to the public, or is that more something that you do as ads?
So there's a couple questions in there, and the last one first. I don't use my professional page almost at all. The only time we use that is to boost ads. That's it, and I barely do that. So I kind of just say my personal or my professional page is not really a factor. I'm mostly going after on the personal side, and my ratio, if you will, it's loosely followed, it's not exact, is usually 2 to 1. 2 personal for every business. Personal can be, again, the video of my kids and I playing on the stairs. It can be a picture of us going for a hike. It can be, well, some other stuff that you'll have to see on the page if you check it out, Michael Putnam on Facebook. I just post a lot of stuff that my goal is to get people to smile, to laugh, to think, and just have a little bit of levity in their lives. I don't go, and if you do, cool, we all have different niches. I don't go political, I don't go religious, I don't go negative. You'll never see something negative on my wall, ever. Because I'm just not that kind of person, first of all, and that's my focus, is staying in the positive, staying in the inspirational, staying in the thinking and funny. And so there's a strategy behind that. If I do that enough, you will come back to my page more often. You will slow down when you see my name scroll up from the bottom. You will engage with me at a higher level. Now, how I've started recently, and the videos about business, those are typically going to be about other people. So that's a really good point. And I know we're running out of time here. If you're talking about your business, it's always good to either have somebody else talk about it for you or talk about somebody else within it. Self-promotion on social media is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you can promote someone else, so like my team, most of my posts about business are celebrating someone else's successes. Celebrating someone else. Looks like some people got to go. I totally get that. Celebrating the things that are happening around you with others, not just yourself. And by the way, if there's other additional questions, Chris, anybody and everybody can message me. I'd be happy to dive deeper.
Cool. Okay, we have a minute left. Actually, we're at noon, but so if you need to drop off, Michael. I appreciate you very much. Again, one of the big reasons that our family moved to Keller Williams 2+ years ago now was because there were amazing. There's only one of you, by the way, and there's a lot of amazing people in this big world of ours, and so I really appreciate you being one of the people that continues to pour in this market center. Just you've blessed everyone on this today, so thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Cool. All right, everyone, make those calls. Reach out and touch someone. Call them and just say hi. That was beautiful, huh, Jenna? Have a fabulous day. So if I can do that, we can do pretty much anything, right? Have a great day. Bye.